y'all only knew what goes on behind the scenes at this facility.
We can't wait to share.
At this studio. Where my notes?
We'll pay the bills first.
Here we go. Oh, Bella's allowed back in. Please remember to rate, review, like, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Ding, 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 ding. We are back on our margarita kick.
We are.
Because,
what is us? I think it's like usually margaritas.
I think so.
Blink. Bella's like,
what about
dropped
me?
some last week.
Like, where's my little salt that falls on the floor?
Yep.
So this episode, toxic workplace, toxic work culture, toxic work environment,
Toxic co-workers.
all of the above.
All the toxicity.
I feel like it's getting worse now with people just going back into the office. There's a lot of anger that built up over this last year, a lot of anxieties, a lot of stuff.
You know why? I think one of the main reasons, there's no boundaries. So any boundary that you had before COVID, before everyone was working from home, if you were able to work from home, there's no boundaries.
Right.
There's no time boundaries. There's no workspace boundaries. There's nothing to differentiate between your personal life physically and your personal life, like your time with work. So
It's like when you bought your work equipment home, your employer automatically thought that they were like now invited to your home. No.
still 9 to 5.
So yeah, we're just gonna act like we're in the office. We're gonna just keep that same energy. We're gonna act like we're in the office. You're gonna bust into the office asking me random things. Don't be trying to bust through my line with a Zoom call. Get that.
Yes.
Like, go ahead.
So before, right, you could just pop up over a cubicle. You can pop into somebody's office because you know they're there. Now we're virtual, right? So now we're screen to screen. You don't know if that person is there, so don't just Zoom call them, right? You don't know if they're there. You don't know if they're on another call. You don't know if they're in the workplace. You know if someone's in the bathroom because they're not physically at their desk.
She must not.
So just because you see a chunk of time that's open and you assume that because you have something to say doesn't mean that that person on the other end is there to receive it. So it's like FaceTiming without
I was
an appointment.
just gonna say,
Don't do that.
like, there's a text that happens prior to that FaceTime call.
Are you free?
Right.
Yeah. Same messenger works. Are you free?
We're gonna have to create some Zoom call etiquette.
Yes.
Let's create a Zoom call etiquette. Because
I'm gonna take notes.
Yes.
Zoom call
I
etiquette.
feel like that is something that a lot of people can relate to.
Because etiquette went out the window.
A long time ago.
First of all, half of us aren't showering before we start the workday
Right.
anyway. I say us, but I shower. But if you see me in a bun and a shirt with words on it, just mind your business. I will keep my camera off.
That's all.
Yeah.
Keep it pushing.
So, I'm already hot.
There you go.
I'm already hot. Oh no. Let's drink a little more margarita.
The first thing I wrote down was office gossip. Because that's like where that's where everything is like born and starts and festers. And most of the time, think about your office. If most of you guys are listening or watching, you know that group or that one person that knows everything and they like to get the story and put a remix on it and get the news back out there. And now everybody's in an uproar about something that didn't even happen. Like I told my mom, I said, she's worried about this vaccine mandate and everything that's going to happen. And I'm like, until you see that email from HR or your
Correct.
benefits department or whatever it is, that policy, until you see that in black and white, all people are going to talk. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody wants you to hear their opinion. They think theirs is the best. Ours is the best. That's why we have a podcast. That is neither here nor there.
That is correct.
But I'm like, don't get yourself upset and feed into all this, because 9 out of it's just bullshit. They don't know. This is just what they think that they're going to do.
Yeah.
Until you see that policy, until they say this is what it is and you need to do this by this date and sign here, don't give it energy, because you'll drive yourself crazy.
You're just getting hyped up for a situation that either isn't going to happen or hasn't happened yet. So you're putting yourself either through it for no reason, or you're putting yourself through it 2 times. The one time when you heard about it, and then the one time if it actually happens.
Right. I feel like we need a person for the gossiper. Like, we got Cheryl. Cheryl is the one that is fake busy all the time. Gail the gossiper.
Oh, I like that. Gonna put don't answer Gail.
Don't answer Gail. Gail got shit else going on. Gail is that lady from Clickbait. Gail is the
I don't even remember
she don't
her
got
name.
shit going on in her life, so she just gotta add some spice. Gail the gossiper. Sorry for the Gails out there.
Sorry for the Cheryls.
It's not personal, it just makes sense in my brain.
Yes.
But yeah, like everybody has a Gail the gossiper that has been at a company for a long time. Gail knows where the bodies are buried. Everybody goes to Gail and tells her stuff. They go to Gail and they tell her the secret, or you know, we're this is in the works, or we're planning on doing this, and this, but don't tell anybody. Stop doing that.
Yes,
Supervise.
Gail is telling everybody.
Gail is telling, and she remixed it.
Yep.
Like she put that spin on it.
Yep.
So now what was supposed to be good news is gonna be met with a lot of attitude when you you call that meeting and everybody's in there with their legs shaking and their arms crossed because Gail done already told the lie and ruined whatever surprise it was supposed to happen.
Yep.
Stop telling your employees things that you don't want your other employees to know. If you want to keep it a secret, keep it to yourself.
There is no workplace loyalty in those situations because everyone knows who Gail is,
right?
And who told Gail, so that person can't be trusted either.
Exactly. Can't trust Gail. No. You can't trust Gail, but Gail's doing her job. Gail's the gossiper.
Yeah.
Gail can't do her job if y'all stop telling Gail shit. She won't have anything to talk about.
The Gail will turn into Cheryl.
Exactly. That she's just gonna be fake busy
and not doing nothing
until somebody got some good juicy news to talk about. Yeah, stop listening to Gail the gossiper, because she gonna get y'all in trouble. Gail gonna get y'all cursed out.
Yes.
Like, Gail said, and then Gail will be the one to say, well, that's not what I meant.
Which leads me to when someone tries to defend a Gail, they mean well.
Right.
No, the fuck she doesn't. Gail is spreading rumors, or even if she's not spreading rumors, she's saying things that don't need to be said because someone shared that with her in confidence, whether it was work related or personal. So when you try to defend someone by saying they mean well, no, you and they don't know what they mean well actually means. Unless
you said it, don't tell me what somebody else meant. Because you probably weren't in the room when the conversation happened, and don't stick up for somebody else because you have no idea what their intention was.
I bet you Gail won't stick up for you.
Hello? Nope. Gail gonna be like, girl, let me tell you, her husband gonna leave her. Like, Gail is coming. Gail owes nobody nothing but pure entertainment.
Yes.
And she keeps everybody entertained.
She knows it.
And like, I used to always be buddies with Gail the gossipers because they told me what was going on.
Yes.
But then I knew who not to tell my business to.
And then you feel comfortable, and then you start telling Gail stuff until you start putting two together.
Yep. Everybody knows a Gail. And tell me somebody means well.
Don't tell me that.
Because it's just like, it's either they're gossiping or they're instigating something. Like, Gail is the person that probably was like, oh, just ask Melanie. She has time. She don't have kids. Shut the fuck up. What? You have no idea because that's another thing that always drives me crazy about employers when they know that you don't have children. They think that because you don't have children, you have all the time in the world. You could pick up that extra shift. You could pick up overtime. Don't you need extra money for your trip? No, because I don't have kids, so I don't have to work extra for the shit that I want. It's just there. Like, it's just there. But there's my old job used to love to do that to me. Just ask Mel. I'm sure she got a vacation plan. Just ask Mel. I'm sure she wants to go buy something new. Those things are gonna happen with the salary that I already signed up for. I don't have to work extra for them. The extra is for me. Yeah. Not to help you out.
That reminds me of around the holiday time where the moms usually want to take the week of Christmas or the week of
Thanksgiving or whatever it is.
New Year's, which is fine because yes, your children's school is probably most likely closed, so you have to figure out your situation. But don't tell me that I can't take my vacation around that time because
I don't have kids.
A mom, coworker of mine, has kids and has to plan accordingly. I get my vacation too. So I'm coming to you ahead of her so that I can try and schedule it ahead of her. I know that sounds like I'm kind of undermining her, but at the same time, we all get...
Right, you got... Listen, I'm not worried
Christmas
about
too.
her and her children. I'm worried about me and my vacation because although I don't have children, I'm still somebody's child.
Yeah.
And she would like to see me on the holidays. Yes. And I have nieces and nephews, and I would like to see them.
I would like to bake cookies and stuff with them too.
But it's like you feel like you have to fight for that. You feel like you have, like, I have to explain that I have family and that I would like to spend time with them, and it doesn't always have to do with, oh, I don't have my own family that I birthed, but I'm still a part of the family, and I would like to spend time with them.
I am a village.
Right. Hello.
I need to be there for my village. So I know it might sound very conniving for me to try to get my dates in before the mom gets her dates in, but why can't I? We can figure it out. Let's figure it out.
Because that person probably feels comfortable, like, well, I don't care. They're going to give it to me because I have kids.
Yeah. She don't got kids. She don't need those days. You don't know what I got
You
going
have
on.
no idea.
You
That's
know
like
Hallmark movies need watching during Christmas.
How about if I want to relive my childhood? Now I can't because you and all your children had to go do something.
Yes.
You ain't doing nothing. You're in the living room. You ain't doing nothing. You're over there hiding the fucking elf on the shelf somewhere else, like doing whatever it is that you have to do. No,
listen,
stop
Mom,
assuming.
I'm not against you. What I'm saying is the manager needs to start really looking at people taking that time off and only giving it to the moms because they are moms and not to someone like me who doesn't have children because I don't have children. That does not make the request of PTO
less important.
Right.
It doesn't make my request less important because I don't have children.
Yes.
And it's around a holiday.
Yeah. I like Black Friday shopping.
Right. Like I don't need it all for cleaning up or whatever it is that people. What do your moms do after Thanksgiving? I don't know, but I get ready for Black Friday shopping.
Yeah, leftovers.
Right. I get ready for Black Friday shopping, and this work thing ain't working out for me.
I'm not gonna be here. I said no.
I said no. See, and that is from our previous episode. The power of saying no.
Power of saying no. That's what our bosses are trying to do. No.
Nope. Nope.
But I think in those situations too, right? So we're going to talk about like how to know that you're in a toxic workplace. But I think when me and Kyle would have like almost like a tit for tat going back and forth driving home, like, oh, this happened and this happened and this happened. And your immediate answer to all those things is usually like, be positive.
Right.
It's hard to be positive though in those type of environments because I can change how I feel, but coming back in the next day, all that shit's gonna happen all over again.
All those miserable faces will be looking at you.
Come back on the ride home and talk about, all right, we got to be positive. You can only be positive but for so long before you're like, that's not working in this situation because I can change me, but I can't change them. That person needs to change how they act, how they work, how they talk, all that stuff. Being positive would only get you but so far for you. Right. You still have to put yourself in that same situation. Because eventually then it's going to be like, okay, well now I'm just faking it. Because there's a very thin line between I'm going to be positive and I'm going to try to look at, the silver lining in every situation and all that to, all right, now I'm just faking it because I hate this shit. Yeah. But every day I'm going into work like, this is great. Yeah. Now you're miserable.
I'm grateful that I have a job because they want you to be grateful that you have this job because apparently we live in a rural area and there's only one of every company.
No. See, I think you could get away with that last year. You should be thankful. You should be lucky that you have a job. You should be thankful you have employees. That was true towards the beginning of the pandemic. A year and a half later, almost 2 years in, you should be thankful that you can work from home. The employer, be thankful that your people can work from home and you can continue.
You sustain your business.
Right. I shouldn't have to feel thankful anymore that I have a job. That's not the answer to a toxic workplace, is what I'm saying. Which I feel like
that's always where they come from. If there's sometimes any kind of meeting and there's multiple issues going on, I feel like the takeaway is always, let's all be grateful that we're here. Fuck you, Jim. Okay? I'm not grateful. Positive Jim.
Positive Jim.
Like, listen, I'm not trying to hear all that. Be grateful, be grateful, be grateful. You be grateful for these employees. Because in a time where we are where people are discovering that their side hustle can now be the hustle, and just all these things that are going on. You should absolutely be grateful to have employees right now. Like, then you want to add mandates, yes, and then let's just blame it on the government and say we're following whatever these protocols are. This shortage is gonna continue because you can't force people to do something that they don't want to do, to work in a place that they don't want to work in.
People are leaving their job to find happiness.
Peace. There ain't no price on peace.
There is no price for peace. If what did I write down?
You wrote something good.
Anything that costs your peace is too expensive. So if I have to come back into a hateful, miserable, toxic environment, there's going to be someone who's going to decide, you know what? This is my opportunity. I'm not doing this anymore. Let's call him Keith. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not coming back into this place
Keith is tired.
You aren't going to back me up. I can't back you up if you're not going to back me up. And yes, in a situation where a lot of people were getting laid off, they were cutting employees, they were cutting resources and all that, and if you still had your job, that's amazing.
Right.
That shouldn't be something that they hold over your head.
Right, so now are we indebted to these employers forever because we got to keep our jobs during the pandemic? Well, clearly you needed us. So, like, well, let's not play that game. I need you and you need me.
Correct.
That's just what it is.
Now, are we irreplaceable? No, someone could I could be laid off or fired or whatever, cut the workforce tomorrow, and someone would come in and do my job, no problem. That's exactly what the employer has to do. But don't hold the carrot in front of me like, well, you still have a job, you still have a job. That's not true. People are what is it? The great exit of 2020.
Oh yeah, I forget what they're calling it now.
People are leaving because their peace of mind, their peace, they're figuring out that like this is too much. I can't do this. I'm not gonna do it this way just because this place has good benefits, or I have accumulated but so much PTO. That isn't worth it enough for them.
Nope.
So they're deciding no. They are saying no.
You're saying no. There is power in saying no. It's just like,
and so I had mentioned me and Kyle like going back and forth when we would like have a bad day or work or whatever. We realized that started to become a part of our daily routine driving home. Now we've realized like we need to leave work.
Right. Let's talk about something else.
And I know that that's harder in a virtual environment with a lot of us still working from home, but there is a time that you need to cut that off. If you need to make dinner, if you need to make lunch, just like you had a lunch break, right? Leave that, go take your break, and then come back.
Yep.
When you are done for the day, be done for the day, and now
be done with it.
Go back into your normal life.
And that's not to say that you're not going to vent about it, but set a time limit on it. Pick them up from work. I'm starting a timer. We got 20 minutes to talk about whatever's bothering you at work, and then after that, we're not mentioning that, please. Like, because otherwise, that work life bleeds into your regular life, and now you feel like you can't do anything. You can't. Everything is about the job. You're in a pissy mood all the time because of the job. You're exhausted all the time because your job is wearing you out. Like, they have way too much power over us as it is. So take your power back by saying, all right, I'm not spending 3 hours venting about the job that I hate to then have dinner, take a shower, go to bed, wake up, and then go back to that miserable ass place again.
Correct.
Of course you're going to feel like crap all the time. Of course you're going to be miserable all the time. You're surrounded by misery. Even the most positive person, like I felt like that was, and I've talked about that before. I started off as a super happy, positive nurse. Not that I'm not happy and positive now, but the misery around me started to weigh on me. Like, did they have a high turnover? And we said we were going to talk about that as well. Like, yes, they had a high turnover, so that should have been my red flag. But they also had employees there that were there for 10, 15 years. And I'm like, all right, well, that should be good. But when you really look at those employees, they were not happy. They were just there because they're like, well, I've been working here for 15 years. Who else is going to pay me this? I've been working here for 10 years. I'm fully vested now. I have, and that was me. I remember when I got to like my 5th year, I was so excited to be fully vested. I was probably like 23, 24 years old, fully vested in a 403B. Most of my friends hadn't started any kind of retirement yet. But I was like, for me, that was like, woohoo, like I did something big. And for those reasons, I was just like, all right, so I'm gonna, like, I just kept looking into the same health system. What else can I do within this health system that's gonna continue to carry over? Because if I start somewhere else, I have to start accumulating time from the beginning. I have to start my 403B I have to start everything over. And I was just like, I can't be a slave to that. Like, no, that's not, I can't think, like, I guess, I know we have to plan for a retirement and do all those things, but right now, I'm worried about right now. Right now, I don't feel well. This place is sucking the life out of me.
This isn't working for me.
This isn't working for my peace of mind. And there were so many people that were like, oh, well, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. You know. Oh, I know. That's why I'm supposed to travel and just hospital hop. And now recruiters work for me, and I get what I want because I tell them, this is what I want, and if they can't meet that, then I'll move on to another hospital. That's all.
Right. Don't move.
Thank you. Good friend. A good friend will take the fuzzy off your forehead.
But so you mentioned high turnover. I think when you realize, if you realize that there's a high turnover rate, the company itself needs to be somewhat self-aware. Like, why are we losing people every year, a year and a half, whatever, that didn't share that? It's different if they share it when they're hired, but if they didn't share that and then a year and a half, 2 years later, they're like, I'm leaving.
Right.
And you continue to see that, self-reflect, right? Is it the manager? Is it the company? Is it a combination of the two? Is it the workload? Like, you need to self-reflect. If you're not looking at that, that is definitely a signal or a sign of a toxic workplace. And then you shouldn't have that high turnover rate. Same way with someone staying for that long. It's a lot of, like you said, they're scared to leave because they don't think it's anything better out there. And you've accumulated so much PTO. But did you go anywhere?
But
Why
did you go anywhere?
PTO?
Right. Like,
are you using it?
No, because they probably making you feel bad when you try to take time off.
Right.
Like, it's just, like, if you're somewhere and you're there for 10, 15, 20 years and you're like, I still love my job, congratulations. That is a hard thing. That's a big deal. Jobs like that do not exist anymore. Like, this whole back to the vaccine mandate. You want, even, and I'll take Jay into consideration. She did not want to get the vaccine, and then her job mandated it, and then she changed her mind. Not because the job really forced her, but she enjoys what she does. She enjoys her job, so she went and did it. If she didn't enjoy, if she hated her job, she probably wouldn't have did it. Like, you're now on top of all the other bullshit. Now you're gonna do a vaccine mandate. Those employees that were not happy, they're not gonna go ahead and put their life at risk or whatever their values or their morals or however they feel against the vaccine. They're not gonna put that at risk for an employer that they never felt appreciated by.
Right. So let's talk about Keith.
Let's talk about Keith.
Keith has decided there is a mandate at the job. They want him to come back. Keith is not getting the vaccine. Keith said that to them. This place isn't giving me what I need anymore.
Right. You want me to give up something, but you haven't given me nothing in a very long time.
Right.
Because I work for my check, so don't tell me that you give me my check.
Correct. You work for your check. You've been there for X amount of years. You decide that is the deciding factor. So that was a deciding factor for Keith. Keith isn't coming back to a job that wasn't fulfilling what he needed for his future, and he's not going to go back on his morals and lose his ground. If you decide that this isn't for you, and then your back is up against the wall, there's a decision to be made. In this situation, Keith was like, I'm not doing it. Be like Keith.
Be like Keith.
But
be like Keith.
If you are in a toxic workplace, yes.
Yeah. If you don't like your job and you don't want to get the vaccine, why would you put the reasons of not getting the vaccine, why would you put that on the line for something that you don't like?
Right.
Like, if you love your job, by all means, do whatever it is you need to do. But if you already don't like your job and they're making you do something that you don't want to do, it's a double negative. Like, nope, figure it out. What you gonna do?
They're hiring at Bath & Body.
Yep. And it's about to be seasonal.
If you can find work somewhere else and be happier, even if it isn't at the pay rate. Now, granted, if you have a family to support, I'm not saying
everybody's situation is different, right? Sometimes you might hate that fucking job and don't want to get the vaccine, but you carry the benefits for your kids and for your wife, for your husband, and somebody's sick or whatever. Everybody's situation is different.
But allow people to make that decision and don't judge them and don't attack them for that, because you don't know what's going on with them personally.
Exactly. Everybody just thinks they know. You don't. You don't.
All this like the bullshit on Facebook with the he said she said and this stat that you should have an asterisk next to it, and then the other stat that should have an asterisk next to it. And I'm talking about both sides. I'm not picking one side. Like, stop that. This turned into a political issue. Let's talk about, I don't want this for this reason, and be respectful of that.
Right. And this is making the work environment that much more toxic, because now we have places that, okay, if you're fully vaccinated, you're in the office, but those that are not vaccinated are working from home. What do you think is happening when Gail vaccinated? Because of course Gail got vaccinated because that's how she got to keep up on the gossip. So now Gail is vaccinated. She is working with the other vaccinated people. They're all in there talking shit about everybody else. Yep. So now, fast forward however many weeks, the unvaccinated come into the office, and now you've created that. They're literally creating a divide.
Cliques.
Right. Yep. So there was already cliques. Now there's new cliques. Mm-hmm. It's just too much. It's so exhausting. Like, why can't we just come in and do our job and just go home?
And let's talk about that. So,
such a simple concept.
If you don't so simple. Like, all of this is so simple.
I could come in and work and go home and not be you're not affecting my space?
Yeah. And be done.
Wow.
Also, I think it's a toxic work environment if you just doing your job pisses you off. Mm. If every single email that comes through your inbox, if everything that is on your list of duties pisses you off, A, this isn't a job for you anymore, or B, it's given in a way that's toxic for you, let's find you employment elsewhere.
Exactly. And they might be taking it out on that list of tasks because they haven't addressed whatever other bullshit is going on. So now it's like, what I used to love, I fucking hate because I hate this place. Like, you start to hate everything. Like, misery loves company and I am booked and busy.
Oh, misery so loves company. And so we talked about the poor retention, talked about the long timers. Oh, the micromanaging is also a sign of a very toxic work environment. Right. You were hired as an adult, because I'm pretty sure they didn't go recruit you in middle school.
I didn't have to submit working papers when I took this job.
They hired you as an adult.
Did it?
I didn't need to get it signed every week.
Right. My mom didn't sign it.
They hired you as an adult. Let you do your job. Now, at your one-on-ones or your staff meetings or your management meetings or your yearly, whatever you call your yearly meetings with your boss, your evaluation, thank you. If at that point bring to my attention I'm not doing my job, that's different. But as I'm doing my job, in the space that I'm doing my job, don't micromanage me to feel like I'm not doing my job.
Right.
There's a difference there.
No, there is. I'm gonna finish with the last thought, because it goes right off of that. Don't tell your employee, Joss, I don't know how this department will run without you. You're amazing. Thank you for everything that you've done. And then December 31st comes and now it's time for evaluations. Your evaluation doesn't match up with all the good feedback you got all year. Why? Because they have a bottom line to meet and they're not trying to give you that raise. So if you need a 5 stars, now you just got 4.8 so that they don't have to give you that raise.
Right.
What do you think that does for the morale of the company?
Right.
Like, that shit gets out. As much as people say don't talk about it, people talk about it.
People do.
And then it's the consensus is, so nobody got a raise. Oh, okay, so y'all trying to save money, but at the risk of your employees.
Yeah, because cost of living goes up every year.
So you just blow smoke up my ass all year long, but when it comes time for evaluation, well, you're not that great.
Yep.
So no, request denied, no raise. Maybe 2%, maybe 1%.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Here's a gift card for
here's a
free meal
gold
at Chipotle.
fucking star or some cold pizza. She's vegan. She don't eat pizza.
Donuts. I don't eat those either.
And that is a wrap on this episode.
That is.
Bye.
Bye. Oh shit!
See,
wait,
it ain't work.
Bye.
Bye.